welcome to Bob's Live, our weekly show right here on the internet. And of course, you can find us on Facebook and also on YouTube each week on Tuesday at 5 p.m. And well, this week, I want to talk about something that is pretty close to Christmas, and that is caring for poinsettias. But first, I thought we would take a quick trip out to the greenhouse to see what's happening out there. It's been a while since we've been out in the greenhouse, and we do have more than just poinsettias growing at this time of year. We're kind of starting into the early part of our spring season. So let's check out what we have growing in the greenhouse. Today I'm out here in the greenhouse where I haven't done an update for a while. And here in this section of the greenhouse, it is pretty cold right now. We're in the process of replacing the ground cloth and kind of doing some cleanup in this section. But if you'll notice, right behind me here, we have a wall. So let's go check that out. So this time of year, we don't need this entire huge greenhouse space because our plug count for this time of year is pretty low as we start to ramp up into our spring growing season in January, February, and March. So to avoid needing to heat this entire greenhouse, we put up this curtain to separate the greenhouse in half. And that way we can just heat this section behind me. And of course, it saves a ton on our energy costs. So we'll head through our temporary door right here. That is some great redneck engineering on that handle. And on this side, the greenhouse is nice and toasty. So let's head down this way. Here we have some pansy seedlings that are just now starting to sprout. And these will be shipping out in week 2 of 2022. So they'll be shipping out around January 10th. The last time we took a look at the fern crop, it was just getting started. And we've got this last batch here to transplant, and you'll notice that most of it is gone, and that's because it's over there now. So a large part of our ferns have been transplanted, and they're starting their journey as a hanging basket that'll be available for sale sometime around Mother's Day in 2022. And they'll grow here on the heated floor for a few more weeks until they get a little bit bigger. And then they'll be moved to places, well, like the ceiling in here where we have drip tubes. And that's a quick update of what's happening here in the greenhouse as we head into the beginning of December. Gotta do the wet floor penguin walk. These floors can be really slippery when they're wet. Okay, I am back, but my video is frozen, so give me just a second here. Well, I deactivate, activate, there, oh, there we go. Am I still, yes, I'm still unfrozen. That is a good thing. Alrighty, that kind of caught me off guard. Let's talk about social media since my camera froze. You can, of course, follow us on Facebook and YouTube where we're doing the broadcast, but we're also on Instagram, Twitter, and also over on TikTok. So you can follow us at Bob's Market at most of those locations. YouTube's a little bit different, but it's easy to find. But right now we're shooting for 1,000 followers on TikTok. We're new there, but once we hit that 1,000 threshold, we can start doing live videos on TikTok, which I think would be pretty cool to do. So, if you can, jump over and give us a follow on some of those other platforms if you're not following us there. And that way we can continue to grow and reach more people online. And, well, speaking of reaching people online, we have been online with Bob's Market for a long, long time. I started here all the way back in 2009, and that's when we launched the first version of our website. And it's gone through quite a few changes over the years. But the other thing that we launched in 2009 was our YouTube channel. So our very first YouTube video was on caring for poinsettias. And now this video, it was recorded on, the equivalent today would be like recording it on a potato. It's definitely not in high definition or anything close to that, but it still has great information in it. So I thought we would jump back in time to a lot younger version of me, talking about how to care for poinsettias. So yeah, I'm 39 now. In this video, I think I'm 27 or 28. But yeah, let's take a look at caring for poinsettias.
Hi, this is John Morgan with Bob's Market and Greenhouses in Mason, West Virginia. As you can see behind me, we're getting ready for the holiday season. So I want to give you some tips today to help care for your poinsettias. Because they are a tropical plant, poinsettias prefer temperatures between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Poinsettias are fairly fragile plants, so avoid having fans or registers blowing on them. That can actually cause the stems to break. Poinsettias prefer moist but not overly wet soil, so make sure you water it regularly, but allowing your poinsettia to dry out even once can cause the leaves to wither and drop. Poinsettias also prefer plenty of light, so a sunny south-facing window works great. If you place your poinsettia in a window, make sure that its leaves do not touch the glass. The cool temperature of the glass can actually harm the leaves. Poinsettias are also mildly toxic, so keep them away from pets and small children. To learn more about Bob's Market and Greenhouses, visit us on the web at bobsmarket.com.
So yeah, things have definitely changed over that period of time. Um, Something that's kind of cool in that video is that greenhouse was our entire poinsettia crop that year. We grew, I think it was around 8,000 poinsettias that year. And for a little bit of perspective, this year we grew around 80,000 poinsettias. So yeah, a big difference over that period of time. And during the video, we had some comments rolling in I see Gloria's watching. Hi, Gloria. And I'm working on a video with something that Gloria gave me last year. So I have a giant snake plant in my kitchen, and she donated it to me following an episode of Bob's Live last year. And we're going to be doing a video with it in an episode of Bob's Live in this coming year. So that's going to be awesome. But also, Donna, if you're still watching, she said, hello from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Poinsettias are beautiful. Something cool is in Myrtle Beach, there is a Poinsett Avenue. And that is because I just had a brain fart. Anyhow, poinsettias are named after a diplomat that was from South Carolina, whose name was Poinsett. And he first brought them back from Mexico and had them in a greenhouse in South Carolina. So, yeah, if you're in Myrtle Beach, keep an eye out for Poinsett Avenue. And, yeah, it's named after the guy who we named poinsettias after. So that was some poinsettia care tips. Something I don't think that I mentioned in the video, and I created a slide for it, is if you bring your poinsettia home and you have it in the foil like this, it is a good idea when you water it to remove the plant from the foil, and that way it can drain. Poinsettias don't like to have wet feet. So a good tip is to water them like in your kitchen sink. That way you can give them some water, kind of let it drain out, and then you can put the decorative foil back around them. So that's just something that I've learned in the, 13 years since I made the last video. But yeah, that is a great tip for caring for poinsettias. The last thing that I wanted to take a look at today before I head out is over on our website. So right now we are doing a Christmas giveaway. So if you head over to bobsmarket.com, up at the top of the page there's a banner, and if you click on the banner, it'll take you to the sign up page for our Christmas giveaway. And it's going to be available all the way up through January 3rd at noon. And then we're going to be doing the drawings on January 4th, which is a Tuesday. And that's because we're going to be doing the drawings here on Bob's Live. So go ahead and enter. And yeah. And let me, I am lost here on the screen. Let me get back to that. Oh yeah, and Patty says, I've never done that. It's probably why they've always failed. And yeah, poinsettias, they need to go through kind of a wet and dry cycle. So they need to, let me get back to the, I'm tiny here. There we go. Poinsettias need to go through a wet and dry cycle. Again, let me jump over to the slide. But in between watering, you want to kind of let them dry out a little bit. And then you want to kind of drench them and get the root ball really soaked. And something that can happen with potting mix where it has a lot of peat moss in it. Peat moss is hydrophobic. If it dries out, it'll repel water. So it takes a lot of water to get it re-wetted. So that's something that you can do is, if you're watering it in a sink, you can put it down in a little container of water and kind of let it rehydrate that way. But then make sure you set it in the sink and let all that excess water drain away before you put it back in the foil. Another thing that I've seen people do if they don't want to do that is they'll poke a hole in the foil in the bottom. That way it can drain out of it into a tray or something like that underneath of it. And, that might be the case if you have one of the huge poinsettia pots that we sell, like the big 10-inch pots that are really kind of unwieldy to move around. That might be a better option for that if you have a tray that, you can set it on to drain into. So, those are some ideas that that'll help you have success with your poinsettias. And also, like I mentioned in the video, you want to make sure you avoid drafts. And also, cold shock is another thing. So, when you're buying your poinsettia, especially this time of year, we're selling a tropical plant in the middle of the wintertime. So you want to make sure that you don't cold shock them. So on a day like today, where currently, according to my temperature readout, it's 29 degrees outside here. If you took a poinsettia outside in that, say carrying it from the store to your car, that is enough time that it could shock it and cause it to drop its leaves. So one of the things that we do to help mitigate that is we sell our poinsettias usually in a sleeve, and that's to help protect it from the cold. If you're at a store and you don't have sleeves available or something like that, ask for like a shopping bag to put down over the top of it to help protect it. And also, when you're transporting it in your car, you want to make sure you got the heat cranked up to keep it nice and warm on the way home. So that's another thing that can hurt your poinsettias early on. Well, that is about all that I have for this week. So we took a look at what was happening out in the greenhouse and a little bit about caring for poinsettias. And I closed the screen to know what we'll be talking about next week. But it'll definitely be something Christmas related. So until next week, keep growing.